Did you hear about the fan who crossed the line with Caitlin Clark? It's not just about one player. This incident is exposing a dark side of the WNBA that nobody's talking about. Let's break it down and see why it's got everyone from players to coaches fired up. Picture this: Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun playoff elimination game. The tension is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Everyone's eyes are on Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation. She's been tearing it up all season, and now it's do or die. But then, something goes down that nobody saw coming. A fan in the stands crosses a line, and it wasn't just trash talk. This wasn't your average heckler, folks. It was about to blow the lid off a problem the WNBA's been trying to keep quiet. You know what's crazy? This wasn't just about one player or one game. It was like someone lit a match in a room full of gasoline. The whole league was about to feel the heat. Let's dive into what really happened and why it's got the basketball world buzzing. Think trash talk is just part of the game? Think again. When security rushed to remove a fan during Caitlin Clark's playoff showdown, it wasn't just about protecting a player. It was about confronting a problem that's been poisoning the WNBA from the inside out. So what exactly went down? Picture this: the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun are locked in a do-or-die playoff battle. The crowd's roaring, tensions are sky high, and then suddenly, everything changes. A fan in the stand starts hurling words at Caitlin Clark that go way beyond your typical courtside heckling. We're talking the kind of stuff that makes everyone's blood run cold. We don't know exactly what was said, but here's what we do know. It was bad enough that security had to step in and escort the fan out. And get this, there were reports floating around that the comments had some seriously racist undertones. I mean, can you imagine? You're out there giving it your all on the court, and then bam, you're hit with that kind of hate. The WNBA didn't waste any time responding to this mess. They came out swinging with a statement that basically said, "We're not playing around here." They made it crystal clear that racist, threatening, or just plain nasty comments about players aren't gonna fly in this league. Period. But here's where it gets really intense. Think about being in Caitlin's shoes for a second. You've trained your whole life for moments like this. You're out there to play ball, to show the world what you're made of, and then some loudmouth in the crowd starts spewing hate. Those words, they can hit harder than any physical blow on the court. This incident, it wasn't just about one fan crossing a line. It ripped the Band-Aid off a wound that's been festering in the WNBA for way too long.
Definitely had our opportunities late. And then a few different miscues, and it's back to a two-possession game, and we couldn't quite get over the hump there. You know, a couple of defensive situations that we're gonna, go back and be probably really upset about. But I mean, these guys, they battled, and these guys, they're a great team. Connecticut is a great team. Get a little taste of, what's possible for this organization and for this franchise, and there's a lot for us to, hold our heads high about. We're all competitors in that locker room, and so it doesn't feel good. Just doesn't feel good to leave here and not have the opportunity to get another one.
We're talking about a culture where some fans think it's okay to throw around racist comments like they're nothing. And it's not just Clark who's been dealing with this garbage. You know what's really messed up? This kind of thing has been going on for years, but it's like nobody wanted to talk about it. Well, guess what? The lid's blown off now, and everyone's taking notice. From players to coaches, people are speaking up and saying, enough is enough. But hold up, because this story's far from over. You won't believe what some other players had to say about their own experiences. We're talking years of dealing with this kind of abuse, and they're finally breaking their silence. When other players joined the conversation, it wasn't just about one incident anymore. It was about exposing a dark secret that's been haunting the WNBA for years. And Alyssa Thomas? She dropped a truth bomb that nobody saw coming. Turns out, this wasn't Alyssa Thomas's first rodeo with racist fans. She came out swinging, saying she's been dealing with racial comments from Indiana Fever fans for her entire 11-year career. Can you believe that? Over a decade of putting up with that garbage. Thomas didn't hold back. She straight up said, "We don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us racial names." Talk about laying down the law. She's not just playing basketball, she's fighting for respect. But it wasn't just Thomas speaking up. Stephanie White, the Connecticut Sun's coach, took it to a whole new level. She connected the dots between what's happening on the court and the bigger issues in society. It's like she pulled back the curtain on a problem that's way bigger than basketball. Now here's where things get really interesting. Caitlin Clark's initial response, it was all about the game. She said, "I don't put too much thought and time into thinking about things like that." But guess what? That didn't sit well with everyone. Dejanay Carrington, another Connecticut Sun player, wasn't having it. She called Clark out, saying it's nuts not to be bothered by your name being used to justify all kinds of hate. Carrington wasn't mincing words, she was putting it all out there. But hold up, because Clark wasn't done yet. She came back with a final statement that showed she got the message. She made it clear. Every player in the league deserves respect. It's like she finally understood this wasn't just about her, it was about the whole WNBA. You know what's wild? This whole situation is shining a light on something the WNBA's been dealing with for years. It's not just about one fan or one player. It's about a culture that's been allowed to fester, and now it's all coming to the surface. And get this, it's not just the players who are speaking up. The league itself is stepping in, saying they're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. They're drawing a line in the sand, and it's about time. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this going to be enough to change things? Are we finally going to see real action against racist fans and toxic behavior in the WNBA? Forget about points and rebounds for a second. This Caitlin Clark drama, it's not just shaking up the WNBA, it's got the entire sports world asking some pretty uncomfortable questions. You know what's wild? This whole mess is exposing a problem that's been simmering in sports for years. It's like someone turned on the lights in a dark room, and now everyone's seeing what's been there all along. We're not just talking about basketball anymore. This is about how we treat athletes. Period. Think about it. These players are out there giving it their all, night after night. They're not just athletes, they're role models, icons, and sometimes even heroes. But then bam, they get hit with racist comments or sexist remarks. It's like a sucker punch when they're already giving 110%. And here's the kicker. It's not just happening in the WNBA. This Caitlin Clark incident, it's making waves across all sports. Suddenly, everyone's talking about how fans behave, what's okay to say, and what crosses the line. It's like we're finally having the conversation we should have had years ago. But it's not just about what happens in the arena. Social media's thrown gasoline on this fire. Athletes are dealing with trolls, haters, and keyboard warriors 24/7. Imagine trying to focus on your game when your phone's blowing up with nasty messages. It's enough to mess with anyone's head. Here's where it gets real. People are starting to wake up. Fans, coaches, even the big wigs running the leagues are saying enough is enough. They're not just talking about putting up more signs or kicking out a few bad apples. We're seeing calls for real change, from better security to stricter punishments for toxic fans. But you know what's really cool? Athletes aren't just taking it lying down anymore. They're speaking up, using their platforms to shine a light on these issues. It's like they're saying, yeah, we're here to play ball, but we're human beings first. And get this, it's not just about race or gender anymore. This whole situation is making people think about how we treat athletes, period. Mental health, privacy, respect. It's all on the table now. It's like we're finally seeing the person behind the jersey. So here's the million-dollar question. Is this the moment that changes everything? Are we finally going to see some real action to make sports a safe space for everyone, no matter their color or gender? All right, let's wrap this up. The Caitlin Clark incident, it's way bigger than just one game or one player. It's shining a light on a problem that's been lurking in the shadows of the WNBA for way too long. But here's the thing, we're not just spectators in this drama. We've all got a part to play. Next time you're at a game or scrolling through social media, think about the power your words have. Are you building players up or tearing them down? Want to make a difference? Speak up when you see someone crossing the line. Support initiatives that protect players and promote respect. Remember, these athletes aren't just jerseys on a court. They're real people giving their all. So let's use our voices to make sports a place where everyone can shine, no matter their color or gender. The ball's in our court now. What are we going to do with it?